What up, though? This is Knockouts and 3 Counts, but we are not live on your TV screen. We're live here in person for the debut and premiere of the Unbreakable Bunch, and I'm here with the man himself, Glacier. Appreciate the time, my man. Watched you since I was a kid, so it's cool to get to do this and have you on the show, man.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you so much for being here to cover the film.
Like I was telling the cat, which if you guys didn't check it out, you got to make sure you hit the subscribe button and check that out as well. But like I was saying, it's just nice to see stuff coming here to Michigan, man. I've tried to tell people for years, Detroit and Michigan has always been such a wrestling city, and I feel like a lot of times we get passed over it. I'm hoping now that we had SummerSlam here and they saw all the business that brought, maybe it won't be a 20-year gap again before we see WrestleMania back.
Hopefully not.
Hell yeah, man. Well, let's talk a little bit about the movie. So I did my looking into the plot, and you guys got into a fight with some aliens. But you guys have got quite the badass group of people to do that. You've got yourself, you've got Ernest the Cat Miller, you've got King Haku himself, you've got oh man, I'm dropping the name. But like I said, yes, living legend. My bad. Zabisco, you've got DDP, who's a past guest of the show here. And then, all you need is a Stan Hansen clothesline and it's over with.
Yeah.
So talk to me a little bit about that. Having the cast of guys you do in here, and if you were fighting aliens, I mean, it's a hell of a group.
Yeah, you know what? That's kind of what we envisioned. Like, okay, if we needed to get like a group of veteran all-star wrestlers to fight aliens, who would it be? And so we called in a lot of favors from some old friendships, and that's really what the movie's about. Is even though it's an action sci-fi type film project, that the story is a lot of what I always say, like the Magnificent Seven meets They Live, you know, and of course the pop culture phenomenon, you know, that starred Roddy Piper and it was directed by John Carpenter. So we wanted to make a movie that everybody knows what the wrestlers look like in their world, as far as especially our target audience being the pro wrestling fan, and so we wanted to make a movie that certainly gave the audience that. But then we kind of thought, okay, well, what if these pro wrestlers, all of a sudden, their story, their world took a hard left turn into another world, and all of a sudden they're battling aliens. So we came up with what we feel is a great story for the audience to be able to watch and enjoy. And I think you're going to see I can guarantee you a few things. One, you'll see a lot of pro wrestling in the movie, where you won't disappoint there. But you also get to see us in a little bit of a different light, of where we're throwing punches and kicks and some wrestling moves in there. And there's some gunfire, and there's some explosions, and there's battling with the aliens. So it's a pretty wild and woolly ride once they get started. So definitely come out and check out the Unbreakable Bunch.
With that being said, Glacier was always known for like the Mortal Kombat look and all that stuff. So you got to tell me, when fighting aliens, what is Glacier's go-to weapon of choice? Are we using the blades? Do we got a blaster? What do we got here? What would be the weapon of choice?
Well, you know what? My character in the movie is named Jock Holliday. He's kind of like the all-American good guy wrestler, and so he's more of a John Wayne type mentality when he fights. He throws more classic big punches and big kicks, and I always say, as far as our style of fighting in the movie, it's a little bit more John Wayne than John Wick, you know, because we're big burly guys and we throw big punches and kicks. So, and that's really the fighting style that we wanted to portray in the movie, because this movie's a little bit plays on the nostalgia of the 1980s action sci-fi films. We really want to kind of pay homage to that era of filmmaking, and so, but yes, I will say this, but my former tag team partner, Ernest the Cat Miller, has a great role in this movie as Mac Brown, and he coined himself the Kung Fu Cowboy in this movie. So he certainly gets to throw a lot of punches and kicks, and there's certainly a lot of those high-end kicks that he's been known for. He won't disappoint, I promise you, in this movie.
I love to hear it. Well, like we were talking about before we went on here, before we get off the movie, you know, you were telling me that we may see some appearances that we know from the wrestling world.
Yes.
Anna Jay, somebody you helped train. So talk to me about working with her, number one, and how was it to have her in the movie?
Yeah, actually, Anna Jay, the current AEW star, is from my hometown, Brunswick, Georgia, and actually, she makes an appearance in the film that we actually shot a lot of this movie before the pandemic. So, and then we came back and finished. We took about a 2-year hiatus, like the whole world did for a while there, and then we came back and finished the movie. So, the actual scene that she shot was actually shot before she signed with AEW. So, but she still looks amazing, as you'll see in the movie. And then, and so I had a hand-in trainer, which was awesome. She trained at the Nightmare Factory, and it's just great to see what she's gone on to do with AEW.
Hell yeah. Well, speaking of the Nightmare Factory, I'd be remiss if I didn't let you get out of here. I know you got the relationship with Cody.
Yes.
I was there in Philly at WrestleMania. I got to know, with you being somebody who's been so close to Cody and that whole family, what were your thoughts on how that went down and finally getting to finish his story and having that big send-off with his mom and everybody else afterwards?
I think, the fans were rewarded for their patience, for letting that whole story play out to the point of where it did. I know a lot of people wanted to see Cody become, the Universal Champion last WrestleMania, and that didn't happen. A lot of people were really certainly hoping, including me, that it would happen this time around. So I like, during this whole process, to sit back and just watch how everything unfolded like a fan, because I always say I'm a fan first. And as much as I'm in the wrestling business, I love just kind of sitting back and trying to watch it through the eyes of a fan. And yes, I remember my exact moment when that 3 count happened. I remember I was just sitting there, and all I did was just put, and I just had a big, big smile on my face. And I was just like, so happy for him, so happy for his family, so happy for the legacy that he's building, and of course the legacy of his father, who I was very, very close to. But yeah, I think he is, obviously, this is not just my opinion, but if you watch WWE, heck, if you watch pro wrestling, you know that Cody's not only becoming the face of WWE, almost becoming the whole face of pro wrestling these days. I mean, when you think pro wrestling, Cody's name seems to be the name that pops up the most right now. So yeah, I can't do anything but wish him the very best. I'm so happy for him, and I think he's going to have a great run as champion.
Oh, yeah. And with that being said, like I said, we also cover the combat sports.
Yeah.
So I got to ask you, do you keep up on
that?
MMA? Do you keep up on kickboxing? Are you a fan? If so, who are some of the people you like to watch?
You know what? It's funny. I'm a nostalgic guy, so like a lot of the UFC guys who came on early during the history of UFC are the guys that I like a lot. I just watched, on the flight up here to Detroit, I actually watched Expendables 4.
Okay.
And of course just got to see those guys that are in there, and then got to see, I just watched a news show the other day, an interview with, what's his name, the bad boy.
Tito Ortiz.
Tito. Gosh, I'm doing blank here on it. So I always say years of the head trauma.
Bad boy.
Yeah, the Huntington Beach bad boy. And so, Chuck Liddell, those guys, that was the era that I love. And so, and there's so many fighters these days, it's kind of hard to keep up with all the names. I know faces better than names, but I tell you what, like if there's a UFC event on or MMA event, I'm going to stop and watch it, because it's just, I love the combat sports. I love the competitive nature of it. It's something that I've been connected to my whole life, and and you can tell. I mean, obviously, he has a very loyal and huge following, like pro wrestling. So, and I don't think that's slowing down anytime either.
Not at all.
Anytime soon.
Especially now that they're teamed up with WWE.
Absolutely,
so
some big things are going to be happening.
I think so as well. Well, I've kept you for a while here. So before we let you get out of here, man, you got to tell me favorite wrestling moment for you, whether that be WCW or whatever.
For me, we were just talking about this earlier. My absolute favorite moment, whenever someone asks me, it pops in my head, Bash at the Beach 97. At the Oceanfront Center at Daytona Beach, I was tagging with my tag team partner, still one of my best friends, Ernest Miller, against Mortis Saran. We were the first match on that pay-per-view. And back in that time, the first match was always really important because it just sets the tone for the rest of the night. And that night was, of course, Rodman tagging with Hogan and all this other big stuff that was happening.
And that was the night Hogan debuted.
Yes.
The NWO, right?
No, it had already happened.
That was
already,
96.
yeah, that was the year before. Yeah. But yes, it still was Bash at the Beach. So, that match, just everything clicked on all cylinders. And I just felt like it was one of those matches that came about as close to perfect as I was hoping we would get. And it's a match that stuck with me forever. Paul Orndorff was our agent for that match, and he was super excited after we were finished. So, you make someone like Paul Orndorff happy, you've done a good job. And the key little bit of a trivia about that pay-per-view is I actually had to loan Dennis Rodman my knee pads to wear that night because he forgot his knee pads when he came to the arena. So I happily loaned him mine because I went on earlier, which was kind of nice.
That's awesome. Yeah. I just got to see him come back at Collision in Chicago when I was there. So, hell yeah, man. I appreciate the time. Before we let you out of here, let everybody know why they need to come out and check out the Unbreakable Bunch.
Well, I'll tell you what, we came up with a great tagline for the movie, and as you can see up here, it says, "An alien force came to conquer. They had no idea this bunch was in town." And I promise you, if you come out, check out the movie, give us an hour and a half of your time, I promise you won't be disappointed. It's a movie about action, adventure, pro wrestling, aliens. But at the end of the day, the theme of the movie is about camaraderie, friendship, and loyalty. And that's what we really wanted to show in this movie, is that, you know, the friendships that get developed because all these guys have a passion for the same thing, and they love each other like family. They care about each other, and they stand side by side when they get put in situations where they can either run or stand and fight. I think you all know we stand and fight. So, but yes, the last thing I'd love to say is we made this movie for everyone who loves professional wrestling, whether you're a fan or if you're in the wrestling business, because we didn't feel like there's really a lot of movies that portray wrestling in a positive light, and we wanted to make a movie that really did this. And we feel like this movie is also a good movie for the general audience. There's actually a little bit of a makings of a love story in this movie, if you can believe that, between an action and a sci-fi movie. So definitely come out and see it. I think it's got something for everybody, and we want to make more of these. So please support the movie so we can come out and we can get the resources to keep making more.
You done heard the guy. Come out and check it out. If it's in a city near you, make sure you check us out every Tuesday and Thursday, 9 p.m. Eastern. This week we'll be live Monday night with Mitch McKee before he steps in for the LFA main event on UFC Fight Pass this weekend. Hit that subscribe button.
What up, though, yo? Thanks for watching this video. Thanks for checking out our chat with Glacier about the Unbreakable Bunch. But I also got to give a shout out to our sponsors like Potter's Tree Service. If you're in the need for tree trimming, tree removal, storm damage cleanup, chipping service, walnut logging, or lot clearing, Potter's Tree Service is the way to go. Check out the links in the bio of this video and tell them Knockouts and 3 Count sent you. And like I always say on the show, you don't need old hacksaw in a 2x4. Potter's Tree Service will get the job done. And for all of our combat sports friends, if you guys are in the Michigan area, specifically the Clinton Township area, if you are in that area, you got to check out the homies from Mitten Muay Thai. Check out some of this action from the last event. That they just had, and make sure that you're in the building May 3rd. I will be on the commentary, and we are gonna see some great fights, knees, elbows, kicks, all of it. Anything that you'd love to see from the world of knockouts in kickboxing is gonna happen May 3rd. Make sure you check out that link in the bio. Get you a ticket. Come out and say what's up. If you come ringside, you'll see your boy. And make sure you check out that merch at Millions. Until next time, and in the in-between time, hit that subscribe button. Peace.